Hello and welcome to this early morning launch with Kerbal Space. Hello and welcome to this early morning launch with Kerbal Space Command. Today we have Orwell, Blindy, and Early doing the launch. Normally these guys don't get in much screen time. It's always Jeb, Bill, and Bob, but well, every dog has their day. Today's mission plan will be we'll launch, capture orbit of Kerbin, do a slingshot around Moon, and then capture orbit, land on Minimus, and then make a nice safe return back to Kerbin. Now before we start, we gotta see which kind of heading we want, which all relates on position of the moons to each other. So now the main thing I want to know is where Minimus is in relation to Moon. When I do a slingshot, I'm probably going to have to come around this way here. Which means I'll want to head off on a heading of 90. I'll launch off, hopefully make it around, slingshot out. Now I could probably do it the other way too. It's tough to say because it'll come around. Actually, I'll head out on the heading of 270. I'll do a little kind of double figure 8 and head back home. But no time like prisons get going. Let's get ready to launch. Set throttle maximum, activate the SAS to keep myself online, and ignition. Now the first little bit of launch always takes a little bit. I'm just late, wobble probably or something. See if I'm getting that rotation. But need to add fins or something to get the rotation over. We'll see how that works out. I didn't get on the initial tests. So everything works out right. Now one thing you might find on test launches, you might lose a thrust or something break off. Typically that means this is taking me down. It's supporting all the weights and more weight than the rocket is capable of supporting. I have the 3 stages solid boosters. And looks like that's going to eliminate the wobble. It'll probably spin itself back because the SAS always keeps everything with the same heading rotation. Let's imagine an advanced SAS and going through building those. I don't have like my final stage, and that's actually one thing I don't like on landing is the SAS will and any sort of rotation where it will try to advance SAS will try to keep me heading. So by not using advanced SAS on my lander, it allowed me to always have the SAS module countering any rotation maneuvers I get without it playing back. I just leaving it on, get good guidance, it makes landing a lot more controllable. And hopefully this rotation stops here soon. We need to make a couple of orbital turns here as I approach atmosphere. And it looks like we're starting to come out again. And there goes all my solid boost. You can see I'm still accelerating, haven't lost any speed. Got plenty of view when I get to orbit there. Now I like to do 2 turns. I'll do a turn when I merge into the stratosphere. So sometimes my first bank down. Or you have to use manually, unless of course you have mods, but not everybody has mods and likes to use mods, so I use manual flight. I'll bank over about 22 degrees. And that gives me a nice initial little bit of horizontal thrust and helmet cap, counter orbit, especially on the 270, because you're actually orbiting with the rotation of the planets. You actually have to counter. Maybe I'll show it. You actually see how I crossed over there? You actually have to counter the planet's rotation, but that works a little bit. So the sooner you get that bank over, the easier it is. You use less fuel. And we're approaching the mesosphere, I believe it was. And on our second bank, I'll bank over another 22 degrees about. That's 45-degree incline. Always keep an eye on my heading, make sure I'm on my heading at 270, which will keep me on the airplane. And oh, there goes my main boosters. Get those. And we'll hit the map to watch my orbit altitude. Now I always like to do my final bank at about 100, so when I reach 100, I'll actually bank over horizontal. Inertia will carry me in the atmosphere, and the thrust will still give me some altitude gain. Well, like I said, I'll use all my horizontal speed now to get into capture and orbit. That bank going. It's kind of touchy here, so if I don't talk much, I'm just getting that fine tuning. I'm a bit of a perfectionist on these flights. Yep. And there we go. And you can see I'll still be getting a little bit of altitude. So I should be about 150 is where I like to be. Just personal choice. You can be up to 200, 400. Well, up to you. Keep an eye on my engines. Oh, you can see my main boosters. Just those. There's a bit of weight. And now just to wait for orbit. Let's speed that up a bit. A bit of wobble and speed up. Oop, out of fuel. And next stage. Show my. Now RCSs you don't really need when you're running your engines. Pretty much that's because I have gimbaled engines to do all that sort of angling for me. These provide thrust guidance. And I just let them burn. Now hopefully this doesn't take too long. A bit of speed. The test lights this work no problem, so hopefully nothing's gone wrong. Which always sucks when things don't go according to plan. Yeah, come on, rockets. Oh, sorry to get orbit altitude. I'm actually going to slow this down now because I want to get about 150. So I'll cut my engines here, and I'll just let myself drift around the planet for now. And what I'll do is I'll actually cut here, and then when I'm approaching the apoapsis there, or the peak of my orbit, I'll come back, and we'll be able to capture orbit. Alright, we're coming up on the apoapsis here. Now, if I wanted to avoid space junk, I could actually jettison the engines here, so that way they re-enter planet. It's kind of one of those things you can advance later, but right now I'm not worried about that, so I'll just keep my engines going. I designed it to have these engines here. And now the reason I burn here is because that'll elongate my orbit without changing my altitude. And engines. I just watch my orbit, and you'll see it just elongates it out. If I burn anywhere else, it can kind of create all sorts of kind of things. It's kind of what's easy to experiment around. I'll just watch for it to get close. Oh, and hit my engines when they go to flip like that. Again, there is some difference. If I wanted to, I could work with horizontal control. I could actually fly myself downwards to reduce some of the outwards orbit, and that'll change my orbit back in. But I'm not after a perfect circular orbit. Won't worry about that. If people are interested, I might do a how to get that perfect orbit later on. But for now, we're not worried about that. We can see the moon is actually ahead of us. And that's not a good place to be. We're going to have to wait a little while. Because one of the things about launch I like to always think about is where you boost from, it'll kind of come off at 70 degrees, or, well, about a third of a pi, I like to think of it. Or that's a sixth, I guess. So if I was to boost here, my orbit will come out this way. But the moon is rotating this way. So typically about that 1/6 what you want. So when I'm about here, so if I boosted right about, where is it? About here, it'll elongate out this way. So what I would need to do is you kind of got to watch for the moon to come over the horizon when you're going 90 degrees. Otherwise, well, you have to wait for the moon to be behind you, I guess. So if the moon's here, I'll be about here. It'll elongate out this way. So you'll see it'll kind of beat itself out. My position will be more clear. If I was going to go the other way, I'd wait for the moon to be just peeking over the horizon then. Because if the moon was, if I was here, you can see it slice that way. Then if I hit my boost, it'll orbit here, and the moon will kind of go into your orbit path. Fortunately, on this newer version, like you'll see soon, is it'll actually show you when you get a lunar encounter. Makes it really easy to ensure you're on the right flight path. So in the meantime, as we can maybe see here, the moon has about a whole sky to go across, so we'll just do another nice little edit. Alright, you can see the moon's crest in the horizon. We're getting ready for burn. I just gotta line myself up here, and right now I don't think I have enough RCS thrusters. It's getting quite difficult to control. So I'm going to use the gimbal rocks to help me turn. Should have lined myself up earlier, but I'll get myself on that heading first. So, lined up. Hit SAS, and then we're going to, a little bit off. Oh, there we go. Good. We'll use the map to actually guide. Now again, remember I was talking about the 1/6, I guess you could say. There's more specific numbers, but again, I like to go by feel. Using that horizon's good usage of it. So what's actually happening is I'm coming around this way here. So as the thrusters come out, you'll see this will elongate. Now the further out this gets, the less energy it actually takes. You can see it's starting to, my elevation's starting to accelerate a lot better, quicker. Just keep burning until that matches. It sounds like this first set of engines cut out. So I'll just in that weight. Now I will pretty much orbit a space junk. And then we just have to keep the thrust going until we capture lunar orbit. Sorry about that little video technical glitch, some little hiccup there. Still continuing the acceleration towards the moon. Now it goes a bit quicker, but I'm only again using one engine here. I better get speed soon or I'll run out of fuel actually. Come on, up to speed. Should pick up pretty quick. Ah, fuel. Maybe I shouldn't have opted for the V8. Oh well. Durable. Not durable. Jebediah approved. Oh, slow down. We're getting close to capture moon. Up there we go. Again, we want to swing shot around. So what I'll actually do is I'll slow down. The closer you are to the moon, the faster you'll actually exit at. It'll also give you a little bit more of a cut. So I'll just be watching the orbits here to bring them about as close as I can. Now what you can use is actually the RCS thrusters to do movement. So I'll actually kill my engines here. Gauge RCS thrusters and actually use them to slowly decrease range. Oops. That normally works, but not quite enough this time, so use the engine some more. A little more space to go. I think the main thing is my RCS thrusters don't have enough for the size of rocket this is, so. RCS work, but you have to make sure you have enough of them. I want a nice close orbit, so I'll bring it in. Oh, let's. That should be nice and close. Let's see what kind of slingshot I get around there. Again, I can use the gas, the throttle, and stuff as they get closer. And now just to kill a little bit of time, so magic of time lapse. Alright, got that slingshot lined up. Now again, I did it kind of reverse of how I usually do it. And usually I come around on the 90-degree heading. And as we can see, it actually isn't working out as good as I thought. You can see I do get a fair bit of distance, but not really quite enough to make it worth it. But I will make do with what I got. Now, sometimes you'll actually have to make correctional burns. You can see right now this orbit's comes out a bit too low. So what I'll actually do is I'll end up... Oh, I'm trying to think of trap I need to burn here. Yeah, you can experiment a bit. Now, typically to correct orbit, you'll need to burn north or south along the horizon. And so that's what we'll do here right now. And I'll just give it a little bit of gas we have. I'm pretty sure I have to burn south, but never hurts to experiment. Oop. Overshot. Heavy rockets can be sometimes a bit of a trick to control, especially when you get a bit overzealous with the controls. And again, also because this one is a triple, not a quad, like an earlier run, it makes the RCS a bit harder to run. Also a bit more off balance. So we'll just give it a little bit of north burn, and we can watch what happens. Oh. Okay, I burned too soon. You can actually see what's happening. It's actually dropping this end down and raising this end up. Wasn't quite working as well as I was hoping to, so I'm actually going to wait until I get close to the palace, because you'll actually pivot. If you imagine a line going from you to your opposite side of the circle, that's how it'll pivot along. So if I pivot here, it'll actually raise the ends up, like that. But it'll actually raise this end up, drop this end down. Orbit's kind of weird again. I kind of play more about, well, I try to fly by the seat of my pants, so we'll see how this works. Speed up a little bit, get this orbit closer, and then just take a peek at what it looks like. Yeah, zoom in. Might as well watch this fly in. It'll be a pretty close orbit here. Might as well enjoy the scenery of it. Getting close. Now if I was trying to make lunar land, this would actually be too close. It'd be really hard to arrest my horizontal velocity and get the vertical. That's why I like to go up high. You'll see that when I approach. The Minimus. Of course, because no atmosphere, I can cut as close as I want, and it won't really affect me. If you try to use on the course of the planet, it'll scrape you up pretty good. We'll actually see I'll get right down on this planet here. Almost. And then I can do my correction burns. Oh, something over there. That's a funny star. Ah, well, not sure what that is. I don't know if you can see that there. Across right of my ship. Looks like that's an arch of some sort. Read about it on the forums, so... Well, sometimes you never know what you'll find exploring. I guess that's the fabled arch, so... I literally haven't seen it before. I was looking to explore it, and, well, now I know where it is. I'll have to fly there some other time. Pretty cool, so... That's pretty much how you find stuff. You just kind of fly around and... you hit it. And let's see... That burn does what I want to do, or if I have to go the other way. Yeah, you can see how me burning north, it's actually bringing this up, because of course it's cancelling out the downwards inertia. Give give me an upwards one. I'm going to kind of get it about intersecting with the Minimus orbit. Some of the orbits can get really wonky, so knowing how to correct them is a lot of help. And to do it for that part, we'll give ourselves a little bit more escape velocity here. Now again, the trick shows like this is some lunar orbit. You got to remember the moon's actually, this whole orbit line is actually moving with the Kerbal too. So as I come out, it'll kind of give this trajectory. Not an exact science, but that's why it looks kind of weird. But that's what I think about. This whole orbit path is actually moving along with the moon. So we'll give it a little bit of speed. We'll see if I can intersect the moon there. Oop. Actually, I want to wait till I leave orbit because it's actually changing my orbital path because I'm actually bringing along this path and not this path, which I want to do. So we'll just speed up warp time. Warp drive engage. Warp factor 9, Captain. Drop speed down, then we'll give it some extra thrust. That's pretty much basically things slingshot. You get yourself nice and close to the planet. And once you do that, it'll just, the gravity, because it's pulling you in, will pretty much arrest any deceleration of your normal orbit path. And that extra deceleration will put you up further. So going around the other way, because you're moving with the orbit path, you have a longer pull time. So moving counter, that's why my slingshot didn't work too well. So apparently slingshots work best when you're moving along the same, kind of a parallel path to the object trying to slingshot around. So we'll see if I can catch the moon here. You see the path moving a lot more with a lot less throttle. Of course, the further out you are, the less fuel it takes. And will I catch moon? Mini moon. Oh! Ooh, okay, I caught it there for a sec. Something, but that was wrong. Let's see if I can give myself another correctional orbit here. Off my long horizon, because could be I'm actually moving too fast and too far away. So as time gets in, we'll see where the moon's at. I'm going to give it another burn here to see if we can capture it. If not, I'll do a little time lapse, get ourselves a bit closer, see what happens here. First I want to get this path a little bit better on par. There we go. And now for time lapse, and I'll see what Minimus does. And then we'll see what kind of correction I need. Alright, it's actually looking like I was a bit too far off the planet. I was a bit too slow. I'm trying to act on SAS, but unfortunately I didn't turn my speed down all the way, which of course doesn't let you interact. To see which way I need to burn, the north, I think I need to burn 90, so I'll probably end up burning the wrong heading here. See what happens. Yeah, that's the wrong way. So we'll need to transverse into it. Want to intersect with Minimus. Hopefully I can do that. If not, well, you'll see me pause, re-edit, and give a couple little clips back here. So hopefully it doesn't go that way, but failing is part of Kerbal kind. Gonna do this a bit differently than I normally do, but that's what makes it fun. It's hard to show how to properly control the ship if nothing bad happens. If I get this lined up though, I'll have a nice low speed. It won't take much fuel to decelerate. In the meantime, yes, perfect. Bring on the path, see if we can catch an intersection. Fuel's looking like, ooh, fuel's getting pretty low. So there's some, give it a bit of deceleration. And since this is probably pretty boring, I'll just pause it here. And if I can, when I get it, I'll just show you guys what it looks like.